Wanadhani asibongo lala.
Tumejamu sijifanye uja notice.
Wanadhani asibongo lala.
Tumejamu sijifanye uja notice.
Wambie punde imechoka sana.
Tumejamu sijifanye uja notice.
Wambie punde imechoka sana.
Tumejamu sijifanye uja notice.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready.
Pesa! Pesa! No money, no waka. No money, no waka.
Watu wa 10 bila break, leteni matiti hapa. Rais wenu alienda Baringo. Watoto walikuwa wanasomea chini ya mti, lakini alikuwa na pesa ya kuwanunulia land. That is very good reverse psychology. I had my lessons in psychology and trust you me. Mtu akishiba anasahau shida zake for some minutes. It's a very good political strategy. A very good one. Mtu akitembea umuumu anapeana 200, 500. His name stays in our minds for a considerable amount of period. Mwenzake akikuja with a better option, it shifts. Iyo ni akili ya utakataka, akili ya ushenzi, akili ya ujinga. Kujeni munibebe. Ungewajengea darasa. I'm very sure kama unaweza afford sadaka ya 5,000,000, unaweza afford darasa hata kama 3 basi. As a gesture. Siya ndio walikupigia kura. 2027 ni kama sneezing. Hachu! Alafu tuko 2027.
Kwa hapa leo nitawanunulia lunch ndio hii shilingi 1,000,000.
The shoe throwing happened on Sunday in Kenya's western Migori, a county that's long backed the opposition. President William Ruto was speaking at a rally there during a tour to launch development projects. And that's when a shoe flew toward him and hit his arm. He wasn't hurt, but the incident has sparked a huge reaction across the country. Government officials have called it shameful, and some MPs say it shows a serious security gap, especially after an opposition MP was shot dead in Nairobi just last week in what's being treated as a targeted killing. But others online are focusing on why it may have happened. Kenyans are split on the issue. Some say it was just plain disrespect, while others see it as a sign of growing frustration with the high prices and incredibly tough economic times. Since taking office in 2022, Ruto has faced huge demonstrations and public anger. Last year's anti-tax protests turned deadly. He made a deal with opposition leader Raila Odinga in March to try and ease tensions, but clearly in places like Migori, those tensions have not gone away. In fact, far from it. For many, the shoe wasn't really the point. It was a symbol of the anger and the pressure that's been building for months.
What if that shoe ilikuwa bomb? Ama what if ingekuwa risasi? I want you to imagine that scenario. Mr. President, unafaa punguza sunroof sana. Punguza, hii kukaa juu ya gari. Hizi projects, launch them from State House. Because your security is exposed. Ni kama venye sahi tunajua tuliingianga parliament. So tunajua hawa sawa wakiweza pitisha bill, wakitaka kupitisha bill fulani yenye hatutaki, si tutaenda huko tuwavuruge. So what if that was an assassination attempt, like nikani plan? Wametest security yako, wameshajua uko vulnerable. Ingekuwa risasi, nataka imagine ingekuwa risasi ama tu ikuwe mshale. Alafu wale wasomeona hiyo nini ya the jackal. Ingekuwa ni jackal, prezo. You know, in as much as we hate the president, prezo when him say wetu, like, okay, we hate the president, but we must respect the presidency. Can you imagine at the whole world, sasa at Kenya's president has been assassinated? What the fuck? So, prezo ka State House, na hours wote wa security waende home. Ndio tuko na issues na wewe, but tunataka tukuchukue home peacefully, like tutakuchukua tu pole pole hapo kwa ballot. Hatutaki ati uliuliwa. So hiyo security team nataka imagine ingekuwa bomb tu yake kwa hiyo kiatu itupiwe prezo. Sasa tungekuwa tunaongea story nyingine. And what's funny is how Kenyans are very happy with the situation. Na ni kiatu tu, what if ingekuwa risasi? Ile raha Kenya ingekuwa nayo. So mimi tunaweza sema prezo kwa saa hii mambo na hapo rooftop, sunroof hapo kwa gari juu punguza ka State House. Na ukumbuke you messed with the West supporting China. Then do you know what the West did? They responded to the BBC documentary. So hiyo ni intimidation from the West. Plus hiyo kiatu imetupwa. Okay, let's assume umsali ilitupa out of anger, yeah. But the fact that ilirushwa, hiyo ni threat already juu enemies washajua manzuko exposed. Ukiangalia ile scenario ya after BBC, then kuna wenye mnapimana na West na wameona uko weak. Wewe mzee ka State House. Sio tutaki mazishi sahi ya Orezo. Ngori but sunroof punguza.
Now, the National Treasury has proposed the sharp cut of 94.6 million shillings in former President Uhuru Kenyatta's retirement benefits for the financial year starting July.
If approved by Parliament, the former president's parks will drop from 371 million to 276 million Kenya shillings.
This is part of a wider review that targets reductions in allocations for former presidents, vice presidents and prime ministers, marking the second round of such cuts.
The proposed budget slashes cover foreign travel, allowances and other entitlements.
Meanwhile, taxpayers are set to shoulder a 2.3 billion shillings expenditure for the planned upgrade of State House.
Our political affairs reporter Grace Nganga with the details.
After retired President Uhuru Kenyatta boldly urged the youth to stand up for their rights.
Sijui mumeogopeshwa, sijui even you naona rudi uingie hii majenzi nyinyi ndio the story of the future.
He has come under sharp criticism from the allies of President William Ruto, who accuse him of inciting the youth against the Kenya Kwanza administration.
Ambaye amestaafu aliwacha nini huko Ikulu? Iko kitu aliwacha huko? Sisi tunamwambia awache uchochezi.
January of this year, State House was renovated. Now again, we have a budget of 2.3 billion Kenya shillings allocated for renovations at the same State House na the other state lodges in this upcoming financial year. How does that even make sense? Kwani hizo roof zinakanga every few months zinaanza kuleak? What are we doing as a country? Hospitali hazina madawa. A friend of mine the other day was running up and down hospital to hospital trying to find a tetanus shot for her son. Na hakuwa anapata. She literally spent 3 days before apate tetanus shot. Alafu State House ina renovatiwa every quarter. Ai, aranyi mnacheza. This is a bad joke.
In case you felt the ground beneath you shaking today at around 10:36 a.m., especially if you live in places like Mlolongo, Wangige, Westlands, Parklands, Kangemi, then haukuwa jaba zako hazikuwa zimeshika. Earthquake Monitor, a website that of course offers data on seismic activity, has confirmed that there was some seismic activity around Nairobi today at around 10:36 a.m., between 10:30 to 10:40, but the exact time was around 10:36 a.m. Details, of course, regarding that earth tremor are yet to be revealed. That is the magnitude and the areas which were mainly affected.
This thing called broad-based, I don't know where it exists. Personally, I don't recognize any entity called called broad-based. There is a government of Kenya Kwanza under the leadership of President William Ruto. Every cabinet secretary who serves in that government serves the Kenya Kwanza government. And I want to join what Senator Khalwale has said. Some of these individuals who joined government recently think they are there to represent their ethnic communities. That every time a cabinet secretary stands up, he tells you how much the Ministry of Energy has allocated to power projects in Nyanza. So the rest of us lawyers are sitting there wondering, Allah, so who is going to speak about the projects in Bungoma? Who is going to speak about the projects? Honorable Speaker, I have said on this floor that as a Senate, as a Parliament, it is the responsibility of all of us, irrespective of our political parties, to oversight the national governments and the county governments. Honorable Speaker, if there is a problem with a CS, that CS must account to Parliament as an institution, not even to their political parties or this thing monster they are calling broad-based. It doesn't exist in my view. So, Honorable Speaker, yesterday I saw at night, just before the game between Inter Milan and Barcelona began, I saw the CS of Treasury on Citizen TV. He has time to appear before Citizen TV, but he has no time to appear before this House. I refused to watch that interview and switch to the football match because I was expecting him here. The conversations that are important to me from that CS are the ones that happen here. Speaker, we have said, when I used to be in the SBC, that the CSs must write in good time to tell the House that they will not be showing up. If a CS insists on writing on the day before, that is absolute contempt, and they must be called out. Honorable Khalwal, trust me, for as long as I remain the Senator of Nairobi, for as long as I remain a Senator in this House, and the oath that I took there on the first day that I came to this House, there is not going to be a minister that we are going to, protect or babysit or cover up. It doesn't matter whether they come from ODM or from wherever. They are there to serve the public, and we will call them out, Honorable Speaker, as we have always done. So, Honorable John Mbadi, I will call him by his name, must know that as a House we are unhappy that he has time to attend rallies where he explains how much money Luos are going to get from this government, and he has time to go to Citizen TV to tell us lies about economic growth. When you read the newspapers today, data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, Honorable Speaker, is saying that the economy has done the worst since COVID, that we have lost jobs, that salaries and wages have shrunk because of the taxation that has been imposed by this government. Then you go on Citizen pontificating there about the work that you are doing. Honorable Speaker, we will call out these cabinet secretaries without fear. Mimi siogopi mutu. We will say these things publicly because that is what we swore to do. Honorable Speaker, that CS, in fact, you need to confirm to this House if since he was sworn in as CS, he has ever appeared here. I have never seen him here. I have never seen him here. Where? Yeah. So, Honorable Speaker, this is an issue that we as a leadership in the Senate have to call out, and we have to insist that we have to do our oversight as senators, regardless of whatever monster people think exists in this country called broad-based. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
These rallies on top of vehicles are becoming dangerous. They should be banned. Let people stop being cheapskates. Unajua the reason they do rallies on top of vehicles is because they don't want to hire a stadium. The logistics is cheap. Unachukua convoy, uneka mafuta, and that's it. But the proper way it should be done is the area of interest, you go there, find a stadium or a ground that is free, pay the people to set up the stage, pay the people who are doing the lighting, the sound system, pay the security. Ukitaka hata ulipe watu ndo wakuje, but that is on you. But because Kenya, we don't like doing what is right. We ignore that and we just take an entire convoy to do rallies. Again, I ask, what if that shoe was not a shoe, but a bullet?
I am the president of Kenya, but the president doesn't hold up.
Finish him.
Kenyans, hawa ndio wakombozi. Same old monkeys, baboons, gorillas, different forests.
Barua toka Jaramogi na Kenyatta wanauliza kama Kenya
na vitu zina happen ni country ikifika 2027 na uko 18 plus tukupate bila kura. Ai, utatuambia unaishi wapi? Utatuambia unataka nani apeleke Ruto nyumbani?
Kiongozi wa Kenya kwanza ni nani? Ni Ruto. Kwa hivyo shetani katika hii Kenya ni nani? Ni Ruto. Na ueleze mpaka jirani yako, ueleze mtoto wako, ueleze mjukuu wako aelewe kwamba shetani wa Kenya ni nani? Ni Ruto. Kwa hivyo kila siku asubuhi ukiamka unasema ashindwe.
Huyu Ruto mumwambie tumechoka naye. Kama inatakana tubadilishe katiba ni kupunguza miaka ya Ruto, sio kuongeza atifike 7. We cannot wait to get an opportunity kutuma huu mtu nyumbani kwa sababu kazi imemshinda. Ruto tunataka kwanza kupunguza term yake. Kama ingewezekana hii mwaka ingeisha kama huyu mtu amekaa kwa hiyo kiti. Aende nyumbani, kazi imemshinda.
You like me, why them a fight me. You like me, chewing a bomb, and a bite. We don't trust them, even if we bust them. We don't trust them, stay far, not touch them. We don't trust them, hope their man a sub them. Informer, me say you must them.